Hello everyone and welcome back. My name is Greg Furman, market analyst here at TraderPlanet.com, and these are the market positions for October the 25th, 2011. Now our first position for tonight is going to be in December coffee futures. We're looking at a potential move higher here on these particular contracts. Now again, we're looking at the December contracts. Here's our current setup as I see it. We have our predicted MACD and our predicted true strength indicator both crossing the trigger in heavily oversold territory. Now looking at our predicted short, medium, and long-term differences, they're both above the zero line, sitting at essentially trend-ready levels. Now when we see a setup like this, this has the potential for a much bigger move. Now what we want to also do here is break this down by the crossover. So our short-term crossover, you can see, has crossed over about 2 or 3 days ago. Our medium-term crossover, it's been up for actually about a week and a half now, and our long-term crossover is also showing that this is getting bullish. Now what we want to also want to take into consideration here, the strong correlation these coffee contracts have to the S&P 500. You can see as the S&P 500 continues to break higher, coffee tends to follow that contract fairly closely. Now we've seen a lot of choppiness in the S&P 500 contracts. Coffee essentially has been moving straight down from this 290 level all the way where it seems to be basing out here, I would say right around this 220 level. So we would obviously want our stops below this particular level. Now when we're looking at this, we also want to bring in the Vantage Point triple EMA cross and look a little closer at some of these support and resistance lines. You can see we've closed at 250.80. Our 3-day comes in at 243.55. Our 8-day 237.97, and our 18-day 237.79. So you can see that our longer term moving averages are sitting there stacked on top of each other, but they haven't completely crossed. So this is a transitional period potentially in these coffee contracts, whether we're going to get a brand new trend or whether it's simply going to fail and fall lower. So again, we're going to have to wait and see how this one plays out. But for now, we can see that we have a clear buy signal forming. Now from here, we're going to go into our daily report from Vantage Point, and let's have a look at these closing prices. 236, 231. I tend to like to go back and I like to look a week before. What did it close at a week ago? 239. On Friday it closed at 244. We've closed the day at 250 today. Still bullish, but again, my concern is we've also had a very unusual reasons, a bullish move in the equity markets. Now for tomorrow we've got 244.41 and 252.05. That's our target range for tomorrow, our entry and our exit. But again, stops should be below that 220 level. You don't want to get tagged out right in the middle of what's going on. Whatever's happening, we've got some support down here. I've drawn a line on this candle and you can see this next closest candle did not touch this 220 level. So a safe play is to stay below this identifiable support. That is critical, because again, putting a stop, for example, say at 220, 228, 235, somewhere in that level, that simply doesn't make sense. But I think we're going to see good support. What I want to point out here, the Vantage Point predicted moving average 237.97 and 237.79, they are going to act as pivot support areas. So your short-term intraday traders, they can put their stops tight just below this level. Now again, let's bring up the Vantage Point predicted high and predicted low. You can see that we're not touching that Vantage Point predicted low. However, last week we did tag below that level a couple of times. That's why I'm saying your intraday trading in very volatile, choppy markets may not be the best play to have a tight stop around that. If I was going to have that tight stop, it would be around 236, 235, and again, in my opinion, that's just simply too tight. I would rather stay below this level and try and catch the bigger move up. Now, that's our first position for tonight. Now our second position tonight is going to be in the stock market, specifically energy stocks, the EnCana-ECA. What we can see is we're going through a bit of a consolidation phase on this particular stock, but again, we were trading this one not too long ago, and some of these energy stocks, if the equity markets catch a bid, can be quite good. Now you can see that we're banging up against this resistance of Vantage Points at 2052. Today we've closed at 2104. We can identify support down below 2085, 2051, and 2052. So essentially what we're looking for is a clean break of this area around this 2052 area, which we appear to have got today. Now again, our predicted MACD and our predicted TSI supporting this move, predicted short, medium, and long-term differences again above this zero line. And again, the position of where the predicted short, medium, and long-term differences are in relation to this zero line are essentially, guys, at trend-ready levels. These are the kind of moves that we're looking for. Now, when we break this down and start going into our crossovers, you can see our short-term crossover is just a couple of days old. Our medium-term crossover has been signaling that this stock is getting ready to move for about a week and a half now. And our long-term crossover is suggesting the same. So all three of our main Vantage Point crossovers are telling us that this stock potentially is getting ready for a move higher. Now when we look at it and we break it down, how Vantage Point's been calling the predicted high and predicted low for the day, in the last 5 trading days we've only broke through the Vantage Point predicted low once. So again,